How did you become a doula? So I always loved birth. My mother used to tell her birth story when I was little, like only 4 or 5 uh years old. And I remember how I loved how proud of herself she was. And she was so proud that she did it naturally, and how the breathing my father helped her do was so instrumental. And also how she refused an IV in the hospital because she did not trust them. And there was also how they took me part of the story, how they took me right away from her and gave me sugar water in the nursery and made her breastfeeding very difficult. So I felt both this excitement at her happiness over it, and also very alerted to, wait, hold on, why is anyone harassing a pregnant woman? Why is anyone giving a pregnant woman anything less than love and support and anything and everything they want? Isn't it obvious that they need care and support and not anything remotely antagonistic? So then, raised by my uber feminist mom, she started teaching me fertility awareness from a very young age, like 5 or 6 or so. And then my mom's sister, one of my aunts, had a home birth. And then my grandmother was the receptionist at the maternity center, which was a birthing center in Manhattan. And then my other auntie was a home birth midwife. She worked in a birthing center and then home birth. So then that midwife auntie, I used to hear her talk about birth stories starting when I was around 15. I was always enamored to be around her and hear about it. And I really wanted to go into midwifery, and that was something I was strongly considering doing. But then I had my first child in my early 20s, and I didn't get a doula because I already knew so much about birth and midwifery. So I didn't think I needed one, but sure enough, I really did. And then 2 years later, I had baby number 2, where I had a doula, and that really clarified that, oh, I want to be a doula, not a midwife. But now I have 2 little kids, so I'm not going to be a doula right now, but I did start supporting friends with their postpartum and their breastfeeding and their births. But then it wasn't until 2010 where said auntie Marcy Tardio called me in 2010 and asked me to come with her to work and be her birth assistant for home births. So we did a bunch of births like that. I did have a job before that, but then I quit my job to do this. And then I got certified with Doulas of North America, but my real training was with her in my ear at births, and just really like breaking everything down for me, explaining everything to me while we're at actual births, and like really teaching me and training me live, which was amazing. And then I joined the New York City Doula Collective, and I was often running. And in the collective, I eventually became a doula mentor and had a bunch of mentees. Shout out to all my mentees, which was also an amazing way to further my skills. And also shortly after joining the collective, I started working with the Department of Health in Brooklyn, NYC, where we work with low-income, high-risk moms of color, where the maternal mortality rate is around 10 times higher than the national average. And overall, the national average in America is actually really, really bad. We don't rank anywhere near the other developed nations in the world. We're actually failing all moms of all colors, of all socioeconomic backgrounds. We need to do better for everyone. And I want to make a difference by both continuing to be a doula in real time and also help train and bring up the next generation of doulas to be amazing. And I also want to help demystify childbirth for the general public, especially expectant parents, because we don't talk enough about birth and people don't know enough about it. So how can an uneducated populace make an educated decision about their birth? So they can. So I also want to provide education about birth for the general public as well. And then I want to really improve birth outcomes overall. That's why I became a doula.